I became an Eagle Scout. So I made all the way through, baby. Cool.
How about Miss Beverly Hills over here? Did she make it Eagle Scout?
No, she was
That
spread eagle. Welcome to the BoyFriends podcast, where we help you find your circle
And your man.
I'm Jarrod D. King. I am here with Biddy and Deleqúa. And
hey.
We did have a topic, Biddy, that you kind of came up with, and we're going to discuss this a little bit. What are we talking about today?
Yeah, so I thought today, just to be silly fun, we're going to time travel back to our high school selves and just talk a little bit about what that whole thing was. Who were we in high school? Were we in our queer identity yet? How were we navigating? And then also maybe just who were those characters around us, especially those queer characters who were maybe influential in our lives. Who knows, you know? But yeah.
Gotcha.
Queerness in high school. Let's
Love
get in.
that.
Yeah.
So before we jump in, I do want to get an update from you guys about what's the past week or a couple of weeks been like for you. What's been going on in your life. Let's give the people a little update.
That's you.
How's the reaction from the podcast and stuff been for that first?
People like it. People enjoy it. They're very engageable. I see they're very engageable with the topics. I love that, and thank everybody for even sharing that they share. And adding soft and feminine on it. Thank you very much for that. But no, they're engaging into the topics, and they're really enjoying that. So I think that.
Yeah, good. Look, wonderful. I saw your performance clip. I thought that was so cute. I was and they were cheering for you. I was okay, look at it. We're getting the crowd going.
Thank y'all. Yeah, it was so much fun. Happy Pride. We are in Pride Month still, and I'm so excited about that. It's beautiful because it's beautiful to be around that energy and to still be free to do and be who we are and love who we love.
Right. And Biddy, I know you had some performances as well.
Yeah.
I actually DM'd you. I was knock 'em dead, girl.
Yeah. I just had my first ever go-go gig.
Oh.
It was just 2 nights ago, and it's something that I had been exploring without it being that formal for a while. I love being the girl who's dancing on the floor. I was doing the work for free.
Okay.
Really is I was I'm loving it and loving
That's
it.
cool.
And I was realizing that it was a something that I can do in a space that is in service of other people being more expressive. It's if I got my titties out. If I got my titties out and if I'm whipping my hair, it generally opens people up to feeling more comfortable being more expressive. So I'm if I can create that little umbrella of safety, let's do that.
Yeah.
Let everyone get a little silly and funky.
Love that.
So it's been really nice.
Okay. Cool. No, I think for me, I have been edit crazy. Look, and I forgot how much work this is. I was ooh, child, and I gotta record with y'all today. I didn't even get back. I didn't even start editing the next episode.
Job.
Clap.
Thank you. But yeah, I think it's just really rewarding to be able to put the clips out there and get the reaction that we do from the audience, and so yeah, despite it being hard, it's a rewarding job. So and it has been really cool to see people engage with things. When I listened to it back, which I listened to the whole thing back, and I was just we talked about some good shit. I was this is stuff that I hope people hear and it helps. Yeah, it helps for even if it's just a new way of thinking about this thing that I've been thinking over in my head a lot, So all right. So why don't we let's jump into this time traveling high school conversation.
Yeah, my first thought was really about who were you in high school? It can be middle school, high school, but who was little Jarrod, and I'd love for each of us to just kind of talk about especially in the queer identity realm.
Yeah. Man, high school Jarrod was quiet as a mouse. Very didn't want to rock the boat. I had already been clocked in 7th grade.
Not 7th.
They were mean as hell in middle school. And it was this little Catholic school with all these little spoiled rich kids.
So now you know why I kind of have the personality that I have, because that's the people that I grew up around. But it's just like, there was this whole rumor in 7th grade, like, oh, I think Jarrod's gay, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I don't even know what that is. Like, I'm trying to figure it out, and y'all are everybody's talking about me being gay. So, and there was a lot of other stuff that went along with middle school time where it was just like Lord of the Flies type of shit. And I was just it was not great. So getting into high school, I was like, let me just do my work and go home. And that was kind of how it was for me. I had a couple of guys ask me if I was like, are you gay? What's going on? And I was just like, no, of course not.
The boldness to ask is so crazy. Like,
it's like,
yeah.
It's like, I remember being, I don't know, I was in the locker room. It's actually kind of hot. And one of the hot guys asked me, he's like, are you gay? And I was like, have you ever played those video games where it's like, it stops and then you have to pick a choice?
Yeah.
Yes,
role playing.
And I was like, should I tell him? Because is this going to be like a moment? And I was just like, no. But I sometimes I wonder.
Now you jerk off to that every night. It's part of his kink fantasy now. He's like locker room porn.
Well, since you just took it there, all I could think of was the show Big Mouth on Netflix. Y'all know where they got the hormone monsters.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
It's like fuck him. Tell him you're gay.
Oh man,
baby, but the fear. It sounds like the fear was there.
Yeah, it was. I just didn't want, because I remember even like the first day of high school, I had a couple of guys that were just like being dicks to me, and it was just like, all right, so this is not a safe space either. I mean, and like, to be honest, it's not a super safe space for a lot of kids for various reasons. But yeah, I went through like head down, not trying to rock the boat, not making a whole lot of friends.
It sounds like little Jarrod was surviving. Like high school was full on like survival, which I think it'll be a theme for us. But
Yeah.
It sounds like you were really like everything falls from that. Like it's like I just have to get through this shit.
I mean, it's just I think in my senior year was when I started to like really kind of open up. I joined the school play and
gay. He's like, no, I still swear.
I swear.
Why you say
gay? Were you out at that point?
No, I didn't come out. I didn't come out until like the last week of high school, and that's when I came out to my parents. I was like, by the way, bye.
Get the fuck out of here.
Peace, y'all. But I didn't even tell any of my friends, and it was the thought that comes to mind is coming out and then my dad telling me like, don't tell anybody in school because you don't want your brother to be uncomfortable or something like that. And now it's like, okay, and that brings up a whole other set of stuff with the family that's like, okay, now we're protecting baby brother again. You know what I'm saying? And me being the middle child was like, okay, I always had to like bring it down. Let's bring it down. Let's not be the focus. Let's not be the center, because whenever I do, I kind of get smacked back. So
that middle child syndrome is like such a real thing.
And like, I'm not gonna talk. I'm not gonna bring up the family stuff. Not gonna do it.
Not this episode. Not yet.
But yeah. So it was a rough time, and I honestly was kind of like that through college as well, which is kind of what led me to like start this podcast, because I lacked the self-esteem and the self-confidence. Like, it was through the floor, like literally to the point where I had to learn how to walk again without being self-conscious about literally every single step that I made. And like, I had to kind of like rebuild myself. So yeah, it was rough, and then I had to learn how to make friends. I was like, all right, I don't really know how to do this. And I had to learn as like a 22, 23-year-old out of college, because during college I was like, let me not even mess with these people. You know what I'm saying? Whereas that's the time where everybody makes those lifelong friends and experiments. And I was just like, no, I'm not even going to do it.
Damn. they had you so fucked up that you like missed the prime time of being able to learn those skills.
Yeah.
That middle school fucked upness is it's just like, damn, they got you in 7th grade. They clocked you. Damn. Just kidding. But no, but that's hard. That's hard. Yeah. If I may, I'm gonna grab a little bit to say that like I felt very lucky to have been able to hide as long as I did because I feel like middle school was scary, you know.
Hiding? Where'd you hide? I wish I could have found where you hid. She said where?
Right.
Because
the closet was locked down.
Right.
Right. I can imagine.
Yeah, just like
Break it out.
Yeah, me being like the jock, like captain of the football team, which is very gay phenomenon. Like to like do that for me, I wasn't hiding in that since I was a musical theater girly. I was in the choir and stuff like that. But I feel like I kept sexuality like at bay. You know, staved that off for a long time till senior year of high school.
That's a good thing.
I think it was a very. It was. Like,
hold up. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
No, I need every viewer to know that's a good thing, especially in 2025.
Yeah. Oh, baby.
Y'all think it's not?
Well, no. Speak on it.
Yeah,
what do you mean?
On it, especially because your experience you were sharing a bit were different, right? Closeted, and like kind of DLer, I think maybe than me. But I'm just kidding. But you have a very different experience in high school. Yeah.
Well, it was an obvious thing because I was always very flamboyant. It was something I got made fun of for it. You know, why are you acting like a girl? Something like you're just a girl. Like, well, girls you shouldn't do this because boys do this, girls do that. Like that was my experience as a kid, and that's not a lie. It's not you say you don't bring it to family, but mine is. I've talked about it on radio plenty of times.
Yeah.
And things. That's the reality. That was the reality for me. You know, it would be you should be hanging with the boys, not the girls. But see, when I hung with the boys, my feminine aura, they were attracted to that. Mm-hmm. You understand what I'm saying? So
can we talk about that too? Because I feel like even now, when I'm hanging around the straights, some of them don't know what to do with me. Sometimes I'm just like, you see it, girl. Anyway, continue. I didn't mean, but I'm just like some of them. And
that's why I said that is not DL, and you didn't hide. That's not DL, and this one didn't hide. Okay. Okay, baby.
Oh my God.
I play back the track.
Play back the clock. Video. I would immediately say clock, check, dot. His mother giving.
Yeah. Little Nicholas really feels like she's like butching it up, and she's like.
So that's the one whose titties was out in the first episode.
But take us on your journey. I'm
please. I didn't mean to interrupt.
Your high school, it sounds like even before high school, you're saying.
Oh, as a kid, yeah. I got made fun of because I wanted to be the Pink Ranger. I always wanted to be Kimberly. And then, of course, when Aisha came, the black girl, I was like, I'm the yellow, I'm the white, I'm the yellow girl now. I'm the yellow Ranger now. But it was always for me, okay, I get to say, I'm going to say it. Can I use it? I got to use this.
Say what you got to say.
I don't think I've ever really said this. People talk about, I love Beyonce, right? And people talk about the women that I love. But really,
Beyonce's
the first.
Beyonce. Who's who? Beyonce. Okay, continue. Beyonce. Take notes.
I love y'all. Oh my God, I love y'all. Oh my God, I love y'all.
I'm excited about the origin.
But no, seriously, my mother is the first woman that inspired me and my biggest inspiration. And I've never said that, but I truly, it was an epiphanal moment for me, actually just recently, because I'm finally centered. No matter what's going on around me, I'm centered in myself. So that may be intimidating to some people, but I'm not worried about that because at the end of the day, I've lived enough life. So if, I have to live my experience. I can't live nobody else's experience but mine. I can't live yours. You got to live yours. We've all lived ours, right? So I realized that, you know, like, wow, that is who my biggest inspiration is, and that's where that started for me. So I was that kid. So when it comes to all of that, my mom's not queer or anything like that. She's not. That was a hard thing for her, a hard pill for her to swallow. But she was still that safe space for me as a kid. And, you know, I know that I couldn't do anything without her. So I just had to say that, because I feel like, with everything that we're talking about, that's where it leads to, you know, just having a safe space more than you think. Because I've talked so much about how it wasn't a safe space, but in a way, I didn't, you know, have to get removed from my home. My parents took care of me. I didn't have some of the other experiences that people I know have had, and it's like, it makes you think like, wow, you know, you have to really think like, although those were times that you were this and this was this, you have to really take it and be grateful and understand that everything makes us who we are today.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's why I asked when you brought up the topic, I said, are we going nostalgia with it? Because I don't play with that topic.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying?
I hear you.
I don't. And that's why I'm unapologetic about that, because that's who creates us. And when we see the way the world is today, and these politics and everything going on, y'all, I gotta say it every podcast, it's serious.
Yeah.
Because this not a game.
No.
They're really trying to subdue all of us and get us back to being oppressed.
Yeah.
So be very careful.
Yeah, absolutely.
And understand.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. You brought up a thought for me, and just about being grateful about the experiences that you've had, like even the bad stuff. It's like, you know, and I was talking about my family and stuff, and I want to throw out there that I did not have like a horrible upbringing or anything like that. Like, my parents were accepting, my brothers were accepting. There was some family dynamic stuff that hit me very hard. That, you know, on one hand, I wish that things could have been different, but on the other hand, it's like, you know, because of all of the stuff that I've gone through with my family, with the school stuff, with the social stuff in school, it really kind of forced me to come to a moment like, okay, am I going to just wallow in this, or am I going to do something about it and try to be better? And because of that support from my family and stuff, I was able to kind of come out of the low self-esteem and all that kind of that I was kind of crippled by, to use, you know, for lack of a better word. Biddy, we haven't gotten your high school story though. I know we got very. I was like, I said we weren't going to get deep today,
but we always do, because we're just like living in
when
our
I saw
authenticity.
that, I knew it was something.
You said it's a message.
The Puffs, baby. Oh my goodness, that's the good name brand shit. That's not a toilet paper roll. How my house would be. Pills in the eyes. Okay, let's see. Where's Little Biddy? Biddy. I think I had a good sense of my queerness around 6th grade. There were signs before, but that's where I was like, this is what it is. Mm-hmm. And I need to suppress that, and I need to find another narrative and like try to make that other narrative work. So I remember writing a one of those moments where like I cringe, crazy childhood memory. Stopped in my tracks. Yeah, it was in 6th grade. We had a poetry assignment where we had to like write a poem, and I remember I wrote like a love poem to this girl. Okay. Her name was Mia, and she was like emo girl. She was one of the first people who like was a friend to me, which was like, you know, again, so like I was like playing into this narrative of like, oh, I love her. She's my muse. Okay. But, like, in 6th grade, I used the lyrics to the song Cupid's Chokehold, and I just wrote them out. And it was, if I had to choose her or the sun, I'd be one nocturnal son of a gun. And I was just so and then the teacher was like, could you read this out loud for the class? I was like, Jesus Christ. I was like, no, please, like, don't make me do this. So all that is to say, like, by 6th grade, that dissonance, I was like, something's up. This is different. This is a different experience. But I stayed closeted all the way through senior year. while a lot of people knew, I had the same class from 5th through 12th grade. I went to Masterman in Philly, which is like one of the magnet schools, very small. So I was with the same 100 kids for 8 years.
Okay.
And so that meant like one, you couldn't like transition, like where it's like you didn't get a new fresh start in 9th grade. Which a little scary to be just like whoever you were in middle school, like you carry all that with you.
Yeah.
But yeah, by high school,
God
like
forbid.
I was like in the talent show doing like drag and like performing, and we did I Won't Say I'm in Love from Hercules, and we were the like muses in the back. Yeah. And so like I absolutely found safety in the sense I felt I could express, like I could be expressive and creative. I did choir, I did musical theater and stuff, but I definitely was like trying to like keep the rest of it. It was scary. That was survival for sure. And I remember senior year, my like prom date at the time was just like, I gotta tell you something. I'm bi and I'm dating this girl, and like, is that okay? And I was just like, I'm gay. So like,
just like, so
great. Like, I was like, right. This really worked out for all of us. So let's go to prom together as like a, you know, like in that three-way kind of moment. And it was a lovely thing. So all that's to say, like ultimately, like had a lovely high school experience, but very much the ilk of overachieving to overcompensate, more to do with home life, where it's like, as long as I keep getting A's, as long as I keep doing extracurriculars and I'm going to get into a good college, my parents will like leave me the fuck alone. And I needed them to leave me the fuck alone in order to survive. Yeah. But high school was kind of a place of safety, mostly because of musical theater. I think it's like a great foundation for the queers. It's just like, I'm just artistic.
You're just artistic,
like,
exactly.
I'm just like, I just sing. Like, don't make me sing. Like, but yeah, I would stay at school as long as possible. I was there at 7:30 in the morning for like orchestra and choir, and I would stay until like 7 p.m. for sports and stuff. I bathed in high school.
You were that one.
You was
one of those.
I was yeah.
Okay.
There's a show right now on Amazon Prime called Overcompensating. I just watched, and it was like, I was not like jock in that sense. Like I was not hiding my sexuality that deep. Like, oh, like he's so football jock.
Yeah.
I played some sports. I was a tennis girl, you know, the gayest of the sports. And I also played soccer, and I, you know, loved that. But I was the like overachieve, keep your head down, and just like if I can be good enough, then it will overcompensate.
Can we
for
talk
me
about
being
that
bad.
for a minute? Because that that's a perfect name for that show.
Overcompensating.
I haven't seen it, but we really do that shit. Like, we have to be the best at something in order to validate our existence as queer people. It's like, it's the craziest thing. You know, I mean, if I can clock myself for a second, it's kind of like, why am I trying to do this podcast in the first place? It's because I'm trying to be, and I can't just be regular. I can't just be normal. You know what I'm saying? I mean, just, you know, to even
Unique.
there you go.
That's what you are. What was overcompensating then like for you, high school or like growing up? You like what does that journey of overcompensating look like for you? I think like E-Perchin, it's a little different.
Yeah,
was
no,
it sports?
I think
was it academics?
It was academics. I was never like a super like brainiac straight A. I mean, I got good grades. But it was like my parents never had to worry about me as far as like schoolwork was concerned. I never got a detention. Yeah. I was a good kid. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was like, you know, Halo.
Yeah, and keep heads down too, right? So like,
Yeah.
even, like you were succeeding in the academics and you were like not starting anything. Like,
Right.
You weren't pushing. Yeah.
Right.
Was that
So-
in contrast to your siblings, it sounds like too? Like where like your parents maybe had to worry about some of them. So
Yeah,
in contrast,
I mean,
you looked-
specifically, like, I don't know about my older brother so much. By the time I was in high school, he was in college, and yeah, so I don't, you know, he's 8 years older than I am, so that whole story I'm not too familiar with as far as like his dynamic with my mom and dad and all that. But my younger brother, yeah.
That
Love
breath,
you.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And-
Yeah. But it's just like, you know, he was such a he is such a vibrant personality and always gregarious and always outgoing and always had a group of friends.
Gregarious?
Gregarious, yeah.
I've never heard that word.
Yeah.
Like, it means like.
Yeah, like always had like a big energy and was always very talkative and social. And oh my gosh, y'all are crazy.
Gregarious.
Okay.
Is this my camera? Is this my camera? Okay.
That's my camera. Who are you? My name is Judy Garland.
We're
Oh
like,
my gosh.
oh, be vulnerable with us. Quick thought. Do you think in some way, like your younger sibling, like I imagine took more attention from your parents because of some of that? Like they wanted to push him. Do you feel like that actually ended up serving you in your ability to kind of like fly under the radar survival wise? Like, he actually took a lot of the heat maybe off of that. Is that part of it? Okay, if it's not.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. I think if we acted in the same way, then we both got heat. And I knew if I could not be like my brother, then none of us got heat. He was just the protected class. So it's like, I can't act up because if I do, or not act up, but I can't, you know, I can't act the same way that he does or behave the same way that he does because then we both get like looked at like we're crazy. But he can do that alone. It's like, I don't know.
That's
if you
the
had
youngest
siblings,
child, baby.
It's kind of like if you both are kind of acting crazy, you both, it's like, you know, on some level that's a little bit normal, but at the same time it's just like, okay, well now I have to mute myself in order to like
Them be the like,
yeah. So I don't know if that really like helped me like navigate or fly under the radar necessarily. It was just kind of like the default, like this is kind of what I have to do in order to be peaceful.
Does that term of like overcompensating, does that enter into your childhood world of like as part of your survival navigation as a younger folk?
You know, I never put it into the word of overcompensating, but when I think about it, I think that's kind of all of our when you're survival, you have to overcompensate because you're trying to find peace, trying to get the peace, trying to keep it, trying to just make sure you maintain your mental, because you know we had to be strong. You had to be. Mm-hmm. So it took strength. It took all that gut and it took all those things for you to come through. It took the strength. It took the gut to say, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to go like this. I'm going to move this way. I'm not going to move this way because this is what's going to cause this, you know? So we all had to deal with it. That was me. I was in the Scouts. They call it the Scouts, but back then it was the Boy Scouts. Okay?
Also Boy Scouts?
That's
What's your troop?
It was Troop 144.
Oh.
I remember the number.
I feel like I know y'all. We were Troop 176.
I was Troop Beverly Hills.
Shut up.
Oh, bougie. Oh, she that honey.
Nasty bitch.
This Garcelle right here.
Nasty cunt. I'm allowed to say that.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah.
Say whatever you want to say.
Okay, but
Yes, that was the Scouts. I became an Eagle Scout, so I made all the way through, baby. Yes,
Eagle Scout, baby.
Yes, she did.
Cool. How about Miss Beverly Hills over here? Did she make it Eagle Scout?
No, she was
That
spread eagle.
That's the clip right there.
Boy Scouts. Jesus Christ.
Desert Eagle in the back.
There were enough sexual harassment lawsuits, girl. Like, please.
I was never no Boy Scouts. I'm just messing with y'all.
I thought we had something. I thought we were connected. But also, yeah, I was like, if you were, you would have.
Y'all never saw that Disney movie, Troop Beverly Hills?
Beverly Hills.
That's what the reference was. Y'all didn't catch that? No. It's cookie time. Y'all never heard that?
That's between you and them. That's between you and them.
Yeah,
I know
y'all worked that one out.
I know y'all know.
I feel like I should have known it.
I'll show you a clip after.
What year did it come out?
I don't know.
Is this like Land Before Time bullshit, or is this like High School
Hold on.
Musical bullshit.
Don't
It
do
was like
Petrie like that.
it was like it was like
Not do Petrie like that, or Littlefoot, or Sarah.
it was like
You
oh
better
my
not mess.
gosh.
That's my double.
It was definitely Land Before Time era.
Okay. Old.
Yeah, it was like an older Disney Channel
We
movie.
hold on together. I know our dreams. That's
Oh
not for
my
that.
gosh.
No, this was Diana Ross.
So it's
We're
no-
singing
no
Diana
Body
Ross.
Wolf.
Oh, I thought this was
That is, it's from Land Before Time. It's the song. No, y'all know. Now, see, that's
This
me
is
telling my
appropriate
age.
now.
Diana Ross did a song.
Tell me, Petrie. How am I doing?
Oh my god.
Where is it? Where is it?
Where did y'all go?
Fuck you, Petrie. Fucking little tiny bitch.
What is going on?
I don't know. I swear to God, like we've drunk water and I had a few gummy bears, girl.
That's literally it. This is all pure joy.
Yeah.
This is on the Patreon too. I don't think we can. I don't think they can afford this. I don't think
Beverly
they can
Hills.
have Beverly Hills.
Hell.
Oh, Jesus. Where do we take this topic?
I don't know.
I think that's the last. I feel like we start. We like. What do we?
Okay,
What
so
did we learn? What did we do? Like what?
so
how
we
did-
did also. So we also wanted to talk about like the other ones that we clocked in high school.
Yeah, who was
that
that
gay
queer
or
kid?
that
Especially
queer?
Us growing up, just contextually, like we're all. I don't need to
Yeah.
name numbers. I don't need to name numbers, but we're of an age where like kids usually waited until after to come out. Does that feel appropriate?
And
Agreed.
nowadays, and that's
100.
also
Yeah.
that was another topic I wanted to bring up was the difference between then and I guess the perceived difference.
Yeah,
because
we aren't there, but
yeah,
there are more kids who seem to be out at a younger
yeah,
age.
for sure.
It's much more accepted. We got to take that into post C-19. Things have happened. It's post 9/11. As these things happen, these unfortunate things go on. Culture changes, and it changes in all different drastic places.
Yeah.
And as I've gotten into my upper 30s, she hasn't quite.
We're doing numbers, okay?
I mean, I'm
30s
I'm
here,
38.
30s
and I'm
here.
proud of it.
40s.
Bitch.
She looked good. She looks good.
I'm 38.
Okay, yes, okay. Oh, she's naming exact digits. Okay.
What is that age?
Huh?
38.
Yeah, we're same age.
Did we discuss that?
I think
I don't think we did.
I
You did not tell
remember
me you were
when said that.
87.
Huh? Yeah. Yeah, January 87.
You got me by a few months.
Okay.
I'm May 26th.
Love that.
Jeez.
Gemini?
Yes, I'm a gem.
My best friend is a Gemini.
Your best friend is a gem.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're
She's
gem.
amazing.
Gem.
May Geminis,
Gem.
because that's apparently very important.
Yes, it is very important. We are made. Yes, there is, because the June ones, y'all carry on. Every June Gemini I know plays no games. They carry on, and I love it.
Yes.
Wow.
Yep. Twinsies.
So when I said 20 years, you was trying not to agree. He wasn't gonna say that. He was just gonna let
Yeah,
it go
he
by.
said let it-
Gonna let it ride under the radar. Like,
Interesting. Interesting how you were going to let
Beverly
that
Hills.
fly. Yeah.
Freedom Menendez, brothers. I know.
She said, when I was in Scouts in the 70s, it was a whole different story. In the 70s?
Ooh, afros.
But all that is to say, like, I feel like our early queer peers was pretty influential, because if there was somebody who was more
And how
out
old are
and
you?
visible, I'm 32. I'm about to be 33, so like
90.
92. So there were these folks who were our peers who were more visibly, or maybe out totally, or at least more visibly queer. Who was that for you? And or like, yeah, like what was your experience with like?
More to come next week on part 2.